Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's something we all do every single day without even thinking about it.
What kind?
Observing patterns. We've
Ah,
got all this research and articles, even some stuff on personal finance.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's all about how just understanding patterns can help us make better decisions.
Okay.
So think of this deep dive as like a crash course in being a pattern detective,
I like that.
ready to spot all those recurring trends and use them to your advantage.
Yeah, what's fascinating is that, while our brains are kind of naturally wired for this,
Right.
consciously recognizing these patterns helps us move beyond just reacting.
Oh,
We can
okay.
actually start understanding, the why behind things,
Okay.
and then we can make more informed choices, in all areas of life.
So our generated book source actually defines pattern observation as the process of identifying and recognizing recurring patterns, trends, or relationships within data, information, or events. But let's ditch the textbook talk here.
Yeah.
You're saying we can use this stuff like in everyday life.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Um, let's say you're trying to reach a goal,
okay.
like maybe launching a new project at work.
Mm-hmm.
You might not realize it, but there are patterns in your past successes.
Oh.
Like maybe you're way more productive in the mornings,
Yeah.
or maybe you collaborate best with certain colleagues.
Yeah.
Recognizing those patterns, that becomes your secret weapon for success this time around.
So it's like having a blueprint
Yeah,
for success based on like what's worked before. I like it.
exactly.
But patterns aren't just personal, are they?
No, no.
Our sources talk about patterns in nature. And
Yeah.
I've got to admit, the whole like fractal thing just blows my mind.
Oh, yeah. Fractals are a perfect example of how complexity can come from simple rules repeated over and over.
Right.
That self-similarity,
Right.
where a small part kind of mirrors the whole.
Yeah.
It's everywhere in nature. Like, think about a fern.
Okay.
Each frond looks like a tiny version of the entire plant.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But what's the takeaway here? Does understanding fractals actually help us do anything?
Well, it's about seeing beyond the surface.
Okay.
For example, understanding fractal patterns in nature has helped urban planners to design more efficient transportation networks,
Ah.
kind of mimicking the way veins branch out in a leaf.
Oh.
It's applying nature's solutions to human challenges.
All right, so maybe I need to give Romanesco broccoli a second chance. It could hold the key to better city planning. But let's move from nature to how we interact with each other.
Okay.
Our generated book source dives into social patterns and norms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's more than just knowing which fork to use at a fancy dinner, right?
Definitely social patterns shape everything.
Really?
Yeah, from how we talk online to the success of marketing campaigns.
Wow.
What's really interesting is that social media has blurred the lines between what we should do,
Right.
those injunctive norms,
Mhm.
and what we actually do, the descriptive norms.
So let's say like a brand tries to launch a campaign
Okay.
promoting, a perfect lifestyle,
Yeah.
all while social media is pushing this whole authenticity trend.
Right.
That's got to backfire, right?
Exactly. They'd be ignoring the descriptive norm,
Yeah.
what people actually relate to.
Yeah.
Understanding these shifts is crucial for anyone trying to influence behavior,
Okay.
whether it's selling a product or promoting public health initiatives.
Okay, I'm starting to see how understanding these social patterns can be a real advantage.
Right.
Not just for marketers,
Yeah,
but for like all of us navigating this increasingly complex world.
it's true.
But now for something a bit more intimidating, economics.
Uh-oh.
I'll admit this is where I usually zone out.
I get it. But the generated book does a great job of breaking down economic patterns
Okay.
in a way that's relevant to everyone,
Okay.
not just Wall Street analysts.
Right.
Think of it this way. Understanding these patterns can make you a smarter investor,
Okay.
even if you're just starting out.
So instead of being intimidated by the stock market,
Right.
we can use these patterns to make more informed choices with our money.
Exactly.
Okay, give us the economics for beginners rundown.
Uh-huh. Okay.
What are like the core patterns we should be watching for?
Well, there are trends,
Yeah, okay.
like the long-term growth of the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
despite its ups and downs.
Right.
Then you have cyclical patterns,
Okay.
like the real estate market,
Mm-hmm.
with its booms and busts.
Right.
And, of course, seasonal patterns that affect everything, from travel to retail sales.
Okay, I'm following so far.
Good.
Trends are the big picture.
Yeah,
Cyclical patterns are like a roller coaster.
exactly.
And seasonal patterns are, well, seasonal.
Uh-huh, right.
But real life rarely follows a neat pattern, right?
Right. The unexpected events, the
Oh.
so-called black swan events,
Mm-hmm.
pandemics, wars, technological disruptions,
Oh.
those can throw even the most predictable patterns off course.
So it's not about predicting the future perfectly, but more about understanding these patterns.
Right.
So we're better prepared to adapt when things inevitably change.
Exactly. It's like knowing the rules of the game, even if you can't predict every play.
Right.
And speaking of adapting, let's talk about using pattern observations to make smarter choices with our personal finances.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've seen how patterns play out in nature and society and even the economy.
Right.
But what about like applying this to our own lives? Can understanding patterns actually help us, reach our goals and make those dreams a reality?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Sure.
The generated book dives into the idea of recognizing success patterns
Okay.
and failure patterns in our own lives.
Right.
It's about becoming your own personal pattern detective.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But like, where do we even begin?
Huh?
Should I be carrying a notebook around?
Oh, no.
Analyzing every decision I make?
It doesn't have to be that intense.
Yeah.
Start by thinking about your past successes. Were there certain habits or routines that consistently helped you achieve your goals?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're more productive working in bursts,
Right.
or maybe you thrive on collaboration.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah,
But yeah, there are definitely times when I'm just in the zone
right.
and things seem to click.
Exactly.
And conversely, there are those weeks where I feel scattered and nothing seems to go right.
Exactly. Those are patterns too.
They are.
Yeah, maybe you're more prone to distractions when you're stressed
Okay.
or haven't had enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
By recognizing those patterns,
Right.
you can start to design strategies to either leverage the positive patterns
Okay.
or mitigate the negative ones.
So it's like creating a personalized game plan for success
Yeah.
based on what we know about ourselves. That makes so much sense.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing it's not always easy to be objective about our own patterns, right?
Right. Our brains can sometimes trick us.
Really?
Yeah. Into seeing patterns that aren't really there. Or overlooking ones that are staring us right in the face.
Wow.
That's where tools like reflective journaling can be helpful.
Journaling. Isn't that a little old school?
It might seem that way.
Yeah.
But taking the time to write down your thoughts and feelings and experiences
Okay.
can reveal patterns you might not consciously be aware of.
Interesting.
It's like having an honest conversation with yourself on paper.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try.
Good.
But let's say I've done the journaling.
Okay.
I've identified some patterns, both good and bad.
Right.
What's the next step? How do I actually turn those observations into action?
The generated book talks about creating pattern-based action plans.
Okay.
It starts with setting clear, measurable goals.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is that those goals are informed by the patterns you've observed.
So if I know I'm more productive in the mornings,
Yeah,
I should schedule my most important tasks for that time.
exactly. Or if you've noticed a pattern of getting sidetracked by social media,
Mhm.
your plan might include using a website blocker during work hours.
Ah.
It's about tailoring your approach to your unique patterns.
It's like creating a personalized roadmap for success.
Yeah,
One that takes into account our own strengths and weaknesses. I like it.
I like it too.
But I'm also wondering, how does this apply to businesses and organizations?
Oh, yeah.
Are companies using pattern observations to, say, improve their products or become more innovative?
Absolutely. The source gives some great examples.
Like what?
Take Airbnb, for instance.
Yeah.
They disrupted the entire hospitality industry
Wow.
by recognizing a pattern in how people were traveling and seeking accommodations.
Okay.
People wanted something more affordable and authentic than a traditional hotel.
So Airbnb's success wasn't just luck.
No.
It was about spotting a pattern and building a business model around it.
Exactly.
That's pretty insightful. Any other examples that come to mind?
There's Warby Parker, the eyeglass company. They revolutionized the industry by recognizing that people were increasingly comfortable buying glasses online.
Right.
But the process was often confusing and frustrating.
Yeah, it can be.
They simplified it, made it customer-friendly, and boom, massive success.
So these companies weren't just reacting to the market.
Right.
They were actively looking for patterns and using those insights to drive innovation. It's
Exactly.
almost like they had a crystal ball.
Well, maybe not a crystal ball,
Uh-huh.
but a deep understanding of patterns definitely gives you an edge.
Okay.
It's about being proactive, anticipating change, and creating solutions before the problems even arise.
Okay, I'm officially convinced that pattern observations are a game changer.
Good.
Whether you're an individual working towards a personal goal
Right.
or a company trying to disrupt an entire industry.
Yeah.
But now I can't help but wonder, what about the future?
Uh-oh.
Where do you see pattern observations fitting into, say, the next decade?
That's where things get really exciting.
Oh.
The generated book actually dedicates a section to the role of artificial intelligence, or AI, in pattern observations.
AI, like robots spotting patterns for us. That
Nice.
sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It might sound futuristic,
Yeah.
but it's already happening.
Really?
Yeah, machine learning algorithms are becoming incredibly adept at analyzing massive data sets
Oh, yeah.
and uncovering patterns that humans might miss.
So it's like having a super-powered pattern-seeking sidekick.
Exactly.
But what are some concrete examples of how AI is being used in this way?
One area where it's already having a huge impact is healthcare.
Okay.
AI is being used to analyze medical images,
Mm-hmm.
detect patterns that might indicate a disease,
Wow.
and even predict patient outcomes with greater accuracy.
Wow, that's amazing. So AI is helping doctors make more informed decisions.
Yeah.
And potentially even save lives.
Exactly. And it's not just healthcare.
Yeah.
In finance, AI is being used to detect fraud,
Okay.
predict market trends, and manage risk more effectively.
Mm.
In marketing, it's helping companies understand consumer behavior on a granular level,
Wow.
tailoring campaigns for maximum impact.
It sounds like AI is taking pattern observations to a whole new level,
It is.
uncovering insights and making predictions that were previously impossible.
Yeah, but it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
We still need human judgment and intuition to interpret those patterns
Yeah.
and make ethical and responsible decisions.
So it's not about replacing human intelligence,
Erbo.
but about augmenting it,
Right.
using AI to enhance our own pattern-seeking abilities.
Precisely. And as AI continues to evolve, this collaboration between humans and machines will only become more important.
Okay.
We need to strike a balance between leveraging the power of AI and preserving our own critical thinking skills.
Okay, I'm seeing a future where pattern observations are not just a niche skill,
Right.
but a fundamental part of how we live and work and make decisions. But I'm sure there are even more applications we haven't even thought of yet, right?
Absolutely. What I find particularly exciting is the potential of pattern observations in environmental science.
Oh, okay.
Imagine using AI to analyze climate data and predict weather patterns with greater accuracy,
Okay.
or to monitor ecosystems and identify early warning signs of environmental threats.
That's incredible. It's like using pattern observations to help us protect the planet. Are there any other applications that have you particularly intrigued?
Well, I'm fascinated by the potential in education.
Okay.
Imagine using pattern observations to personalize learning,
Mm-hmm.
tailoring educational materials to each student's unique strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
or to identify students who are struggling and provide them with targeted support before they fall behind.
So it's like using pattern observations to help every student reach their full potential. That's a future I can definitely get behind.
It's an exciting prospect. And these are just a few examples.
Yeah.
The potential applications of pattern observations are truly limitless, spanning across every field and industry imaginable.
It sounds like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible.
We have.
But for now, I think we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our exploration of pattern observations with some final thoughts and a challenge for you, our listeners. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from fractals in nature to the potential of AI to revolutionize everything from healthcare to education.
Right. And through it all, we've seen how understanding patterns can help us make more informed decisions, solve complex problems, and even unlock new levels of creativity and innovation.
But it's not just about seeing patterns everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's about what we do with that knowledge.
Exactly.
As we wrap up, what's the one thing you really hope listeners will take away from our deep dive today?
I hope they'll leave with a new lens for viewing the world, Once you start seeing patterns, you can't unsee them.
That's true. They're in your daily routines, your interactions with others, even the success or struggles you have in reaching your goals.
It's like we've given them a secret decoder ring for life.
I like that.
But it's not enough to just see the patterns, is it? What should our listeners actually do with this newfound awareness?
That's where the real power comes in.
Okay.
It's not about passively observing, but actively engaging with those patterns.
Right.
Ask yourself, why does this pattern exist? What can I learn from it? How can I use this knowledge to make better choices?
So it's not just about understanding the what of patterns, but the why and the how.
Exact.
That leads perfectly into the challenge we teased before the break. What pattern-seeking mission are we sending our listeners on?
For the next week, I challenge you to become a pattern detective in your own life.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, pay close attention to the recurring themes, the habits, the ways you react to situations. You might be surprised by what you uncover.
It's like a scavenger hunt
It is.
for insights about ourselves and the world around us.
Exactly. Don't just observe the patterns. Analyze them, question them, and most importantly, think about how you can use this newfound knowledge to make positive changes, whether it's in your personal life, your work, or even your community.
That's what the deep dive is all about. Equipping our listeners with the knowledge and tools to not just understand the world better, but to make it better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And remember, the more we understand patterns, the more we understand ourselves and the interconnectedness of everything.
It's true.
It's a journey of discovery that never really ends.
I love that.
On that note, we've reached the end of our pattern-filled deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
Keep seeking those patterns. Keep questioning. Keep diving deep.
Until next time.